All right, Hack. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday, June 8th, 8 o'clock a.m. Welcome to the Masterclass of Disciplined Investing. I'm going to use that as a tagline from now on, where we're going to talk about investing with military precision. So you will hear that more often now. We are at 4 members going into today, and again, looking to grow. Our objectives out there, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. So I'm using the more common terms than the industry jargon that is off to the left there. Our tactical objectives today, for our long-term investor topic, we're going to talk sports betting. Obviously, DraftKings has been a name that you've heard me talk about. We're going to kind of take a look around the space. There's also a brand new index fund that is on day 2 of trading called BETZ, B-E-T-Z, that is compelling. So we'll take a look at that and see if you want to participate. For academic topic of the day, afterwards, when we get to the Q&A section, we're going to talk about self-directed IRAs, which is basically where you can buy a house inside your IRA. You can do other things like Bitcoin, put it in your IRA. There's special rules with that, and we will talk about those. For our flow today, we're going to talk about long investing, short investing. We're going to get through the open. We'll talk about short investing, kind of wrap that up with our daily day trading challenge. And then we'll talk about long-term stuff again with the self-directed IRA and take your questions along the way. We'll talk about the market has been on fire last week. And again, it looks like the futures are up again this week. It was around the world. We'll take a look at that. Pretty much up across the board. There's the 6 names we'll be looking at for our long-term investments and which ones I back and which ones I don't. And then we'll get into the day trading opportunities. There is really nothing short this morning. Everything is long. It's kind of crazy. And of course, there's no earnings on Monday morning. We'll get through the market open and transition to our Q&A. There's the standard tech support and standard disclaimer down at the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and go to our market review. Over to ThinkPipes. And go ahead and put SPY up there. Thank you. All right, here is to get onto a more reasonable chart here, SPY, there we go, 5-day, and we'll start with the year out. So obviously, we had the big run up to mid-February down here to March 23rd. We had the 275, 295 channel for a while, and then basically a straight breakout from that, including the rip your face off Friday event that we had, which was started with the jobs number on Friday. So do we have good news this morning? Not necessarily, but it's more lack of a bad news that's going to take the market higher, at least at the open. So when you look at where we are for the year, it's going to be a big deal if we can crack 340 in the SPY. When you look at it numbers wise, it said the SPY is about 1% down for the year. So really pretty much should have most of this back if you just held through. If you did some navigation and different names in here, you should be up or significantly up if you've been putting in more money on this upswing. Okay, as far as the actual 5-day here in the SPY, you can see the big move up on Friday. It did fade into the close, which is never really a good sign. But we overcame that. Obviously, it flatlined after that on Friday, and then it's been positive for the new week. All right, on into the calendar. Nothing I could find as far as any earnings or dividends of note this morning. So with that, we'll go ahead and go around the world on our CNBC and take a look around. Okay, here's what you have for the pre-markets this morning. Everything is in the green. NASDAQ's been kind of bebopping back and forth, and I did look through all the names. And what I did see is, again, it's more the value names, the travel names, oil stocks, and retail that are popping up today, kind of catching up with the rest of the market, which is very healthy overall for the stock market. So that's a good sign. So there's the futures. Let's take a look at Europe. Green or flat-ish, if you will, across Europe. Asia was up nicely. Japan up nicely. The rest are kind of flat. This was Friday. When you look at the VIX, had a big move up. VIX below 25. Again, everything is good. When you're thinking long-term investing, though, there is a national election coming up. So we'll see how the COVID news dies off or slows down. The social unrest news is obviously the priority one of the day. we'll see how long that stays as the #1 headline anyway. And then it's going to be the election that's going to pick up. So big job. I just saw this. Duncan plans to hire 25,000 workers. That's kind of an insane number when you think about it. I also saw that BP's laying off 10,000. So, I mean, there's lots of things in motion. All right, continuing around. Again, we're looking for the 10-year to get above 1%. That would be fantastic. For oil, 40 is what we're looking for out of a barrel of oil. It dropped a little bit. So hopefully that'll get a little bit healthier. And then, of course, gold and silver just kind of tracking along. Move up in silver. So again, I like silver a little more than gold, just to the lower entry point. Makes it a little easier to put into your portfolio. Okay, on into the headline review. Again, travel industry, it's airlines, cruise lines, all of that coming back strong. Again, I don't like those as long-term investments, but if you've traded in those names, you've been rewarded handsomely. Okay, Amazon and Microsoft both positioned to do well, obviously, with the work from home economy. Lots of folks are coming out and saying this rally is going to run out of steam. There's also some folks that are actually officially acknowledging the rally as a V. Right now, they're just acknowledging that. Anyway, it's been going on for months. But yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see. The growth names ran up first, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye. I think stay best of breed and you're going to be fine, but there's going to be more to come on that in the next few weeks, I believe. All right, there's your S&P is only down 1% for the year, so I can't really imagine a huge move up today, but if there is, we could be back to even on the year in the S&P. All right, underestimated the Fed. So why did I make the call on March 22nd the way I did of the lock and load slide? Was because of the Fed injection of money. It really, you cannot fight the Fed. You have to invest behind it. Okay, second wave of stimulus may be coming. Obviously, the huge move up on Friday didn't help that case at all. Yeah, New Zealand did claim this weekend it eliminated the coronavirus, so bold statement, I guess. And then, of course, New York City's opening back up. If you want to lose money, listen to this guy. He's always on CNBC saying the wrong things. Nice upgrade on Amazon. Almost everybody holds at least a share of that, up to 3,300. It's sitting at 2,500 right now. If you've been following the social unrest, obviously you saw in Minneapolis, there was the headline of we're going to disband the police force. When I saw it, I was like, what? You can't do that, right? Criminals take over Gotham? No. So what really is going on there is they're redoing the police force. This was done twice in history that was at least talked about in an article that I read. They did it in LA after the Rodney King riots in '90, I believe. And then there was one other time they did it. It was not Ferguson, but it was another one where actually they did kind of basically redo completely the police force. So it's not quite chaos like I thought it was. Oh, there you go, disbanding police force. Funny headline. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the long-term investing theme for today. We're going to go up to Schwab's Street Smart Edge platform. And what you're going to see in the upper left is the new ETF called BETS. So again, it's an index fund. So it's a collection of everything to do with sports betting. So kind of compelling in the fact that it's new. When things are new, things tend to take off. Index funds don't IPO like a stock does. They just exist. And then as money flows in, they have to go out and buy all the shares of the stocks that go into the index. So I don't know. I wouldn't put a lot of money behind this, but if you think it's a long-term theme, which I do, I think the more it's almost a work from home, which means, if you will, GFH, gamble from home theme. I could see these players making a lot of money, and the DraftKings thing I get asked every day is it played out? Maybe. maybe. We'll see where it holds in relation to 40. I would not want to see it go back below 35. Again, it's been a huge run up. My personal price basis is like an 11 or something. So there's been lots of money made here. So do you hold on to it? Yeah, for now is the best thing, as best I can say. Okay, but you know about DraftKings and a name, I think it's the best in the space if you're going to hold an individual name. PDYPY is Flutter, which I'd never heard of these guys until I started following DraftKings. I think they're a distant second. But when you look at how they've recovered, I wouldn't touch them here. It's just gone up too much in my opinion. Penn National Gaming is kind of your old school. Think the IBM of tech. You know, they've been around forever, trying to innovate, or at least saying that they're innovating while actually others are out innovating. Those kind of players. So I wouldn't touch them at all. I think they're just being drug up by everybody out there. Okay. The Churchill Downs. This was a name I was asked about not too long ago. I don't know, a couple months ago. It might have been the heart of the sell-off there. And Geach, it might have been you. I have trouble kind of keeping everything straight in my head on who asked what, but I think it was you that mentioned the Churchill Downs. I don't like it. Obviously, it's doubled after I say I don't like it, so that's not the best. But pretty much everything has. It's come out of a huge hole like that. Churchill Downs was actually looking at actually going under. Their sports betting is the positive side of their business model. The rest of it, the whole facility and horse racing, I don't know. I like it personally one time a year for the Kentucky Derby, or possibly, the whole Triple Crown that's all messed up this year. Because actually the Belmont is tomorrow, I believe. It's the first leg of the Triple Crown instead of the Derby, which is weird. So anyhow, I'm not as big a fan of Churchill Downs. I would definitely not put any dollars behind that. And then the last one is point bets. If you wanted to get down into the weeds and try to find something that can go up 10x or so, this would be your name. It's an over-the-counter name. I know relatively nothing about them, so I would not touch it personally, but it does give you that lower price point if you're interested in something like that. So the question is, will I invest in bets? The answer right now is no, because I'm still on DraftKings as best of breed. If DraftKings can't hold up in the 40 range and it starts going black through 35, I will probably take profits. Not quite completely. So if you think, okay, you have say 500 shares, and I might sell 400 of the shares, keep 100 just because it's up so much, and it'd be nice to have a little bit of it, and that's all house money anyway. And then for investing in the theme going forward, I think I would go into bets. Lower share amount, just kind of watch it over time. So that's what I have for the long-term theme there. All right, let's switch over to the short-term theme. Okay, looking at the top 10 in volume. Let's see. Okay, the big theme here, as you can kind of tell, is there's some retail names that are out there. Go ahead and click on Macy's, M. Put that off to the left. Okay, they closed at 877, up at 950. Actually ran up to almost $10 there in gray. That's the post-market and pre-market, post-market Friday, pre-market today. I wouldn't touch that with the trade. It's gapping up, and it's already moved down 50 cents, so we don't need to look at that anymore. Occidental Petroleum's been on fire, OXY. Let's check that out. So again, closed in the 20s, up at 23 right now. Gap down, or it's come down off of 25 already this morning, so I don't like that pattern. Luckin Coffee, just click on that just for funsies. So had a pretty huge move up this morning. It was up at 625. I just got back into that on Friday morning before the open. Entered in the 5 levels somewhere. And so it's back down there right now. So that's kind of too much in motion. Obviously, there's a risk that they could get delisted out of the NASDAQ. I think that will happen. But delisting is simply it moves from the NASDAQ exchange over to over the counter. So obviously there will be a negative headline. the stock will drop, but then it will resume its recovery, which I do believe it's on a fantastic recovery back up to the 20s. That is my take. Go ahead and click on American Airlines. Most volume out there this morning. There was the American buyout. Basically, they offered severance packages to some of their older folks, so they're doing smart things from a management perspective to kind of cut costs. So I think that's why you're seeing the play out there. All right, let's see. So, all right, let's take a look at the next tab. Got some other names for us to look long. Chesapeake is one of those kind of back from the dead. I want to say they actually went bankrupt, reorged, and are now fresh again. That's from memory. Don't quote me on that. Let's see. Boeing is an interesting name. Go ahead and double click on that. Boeing's at 220 after being below 100 on March 23rd. Kind of crazy. So everybody gave up on Boeing. Good entries on this down in anywhere from 110 to 150. It continues to gap up. Somebody put, I'm looking for the price target. I don't see it. Somebody put either a 280 or a 330 price target on it. I think it was JP Morgan. So I don't like the airlines, but I do like Boeing. So again, two ways to win with Boeing. So I would support that. As far as a day trade, I don't know. The only way I think you could see a huge move up in this thing is if hedge funds are feeling like they missed out on it and they have to now do what's called window painting, which is where they go in and have to buy up all the stocks that have already run up at terrible price points and basically show their investors they have to publish once a month what they have in it. It's just like, hey, everybody, look, we're so smart we held this even though they just bought it. All right, Thor Industries, let's click on that. I think that's a defense name. Surprise profit. A little bit low on our volume, but it's gone from 100 to 110 right now. So THO long is something I would watch for today. Okay, and again, don't like Boeing as far as a day trade. Okay, next tab. So here's your decliners. Wow, nothing really moving with any volume at all. So there's literally nothing that qualifies with our, greater than 5% down, 100,000 shares. So you just can't touch anything down this market unless the market rolls over between now and the open in 13 minutes. So. All right, let's go to the next tab. Again, 25 names that have moved up 13% or more. Macerich is a REIT, MAC. Let's go ahead and pull that up. It's down towards the bottom there. There we go. So closed at 11.16, up at 12.79. That's a decent gap. Got an upgrade from JP Morgan. I read that earlier, so that's an interesting play. I'm going to put that name down as something I will watch. Mace long. DFEN, click on that. It's just above Mace. There we go. Okay, brought to my attention yesterday, and I think Geach, that was you as well. This is a 3X triple levered. Yeehaw, if you don't get enough action out of marijuana, just move to coke, right? That's the kind of philosophy here. So if you can't get out of bed in the morning with normal market moves, let's 3X it and have fun that way. I do kind of like it from the fact that it's fairly new and it's gone from 19 to 21. It's not fairly new, excuse me. It's been fairly beat up. It was up in the 80s if you look at the 1-year chart. So it certainly does have room to go long. So that would be something you could take for a day trade is DFIN long. I think there's momentum behind that name, even though it's already up 15%, which is outside of that 5 to 10% window that I think is ideal. All right, let's look at the last tab. Hit the Michaels up top, MIK. This is a perfect example of, you know how I talk about stocks that when they get back above 5, they can be bought by mutual funds. And that's what I think is going on here. You have basically, it went above 5 in the black on, well, it opened above 5 on Friday in this black piece here, and then kind of ran up to above 6, came back in. But then you saw now that it's going to open up in the 7s there. So that'll be interesting to watch. Don't know if I could take a day trade in that with it up so much. And yeah, that's 30%. I can't do that. It's probably more likely to fill the gap than anything else. All right, let's take a look at Ruth's. Actually, this is Ruth Chris, halfway down. Again, the parent name behind the steakhouse, as well as some other names, I believe. So closed at 1070, up at 11. So a lot of the restaurant names are coming back with the increase in numbers. That's another one you could take a look at. I don't really like it, but you could take a look at it. Click on a NKLA. This is a new name that you might take for a trade. It's up 10%. So when you think of Tesla and the cult stock and the cult following that goes behind Tesla, this is a complete, in my mind, copycat, which is why I'm going to pick up some shares long for myself and others today. So it's a name that you can expect to see showing up. They are an EV truck maker, if you will. They kind of, you know, Tesla's the person Tesla, his real name is Nikola Tesla. So it's kind of an obvious follow on from there. So anyhow, they're an EV maker. So let's go to, let's bring down to FinViz. I want to show you something. So there's Michael Kors that I had brought up there. We'll so here's kind of the storyline of, you know, emerging from the ashes, if you will. So I think more and more people are learning about it, is why it's starting to move. They are barely profitable. I saw they're not showing a PE here, but I did see a PE yesterday of 0.06. So they are getting there. So it's an interesting name to follow if you want out there. Go ahead and put a TSLA. So again, here's your Tesla story. I don't recommend Tesla just for a million reasons, which I won't go into here. But certainly there's been a lot of money made from way back from, you know, this is the 1-year chart when it was back in the 200s. And I didn't like it. Well, guess what? I don't like it at 900 either. But so I can't imagine putting money towards that. Put DFEN in here, DFEN. Okay, here's what I was talking about. I said it was up in the 80s. I was wrong. It was up in the 70s back in February. Then all the defense stocks get hit. So why I do think DFEN looks attractive is it kind of flatlined and it's just really broken out of a channel of about 8 to 12. So where's your V-shaped recovery? Well, it didn't have one. Part of that is there's some complexities that go into triple levered stuff. They're really trading vehicles and not stocks. So there is danger there. But certainly one could put some money behind this to ride the wave higher, and pays a 2% dividend while you're there. Okay, let's go back up to Schwab in the big board for our share. I saw some names pop up here, some longs. Thor, we already talked about. THO, I kind of like that. Let's see. Let's pull up WFC, go to the new layout, sorry. Pull up WFC and see what Predator is talking about here. All right, 31 up to 33. So what's that, 4 or 5%? Quick math. Yep, there's a big lawsuit, which is a complete nothing burger. That was from Wells Fargo like 18 months ago. Click on the last one there, the 8K. All right, if you have a long theme there, Predator, type it in for WFC. I don't see anything that would necessarily move it. Oh, look at LK popping up in Brett Red. Thanks, LK. 514. Click LK, see if there's a headline that pops up with that. Nope. Okay. That might have been the official delisting. That's the move I would expect to see out of it when it gets delisted, but we shall see. Okay, let's look at some other names. Duncan, again, is the hiring, DNKN, hiring 25,000 people. That's a good news story. So 68 up to 71. So not a bad gap up, a couple percent. Might be a good news story. Money could flow in. We got 5 minutes to the open, so you can put that in, put your trades in. Let's take AZ in. Predator seeing a short theme in AstraZeneca. 53 down to 52, no news. Yeah, and ooh, it just fallen right there. Don't know the headline there. So, all right, let's go over to the big board and the charts. I'm gonna think about my trade for a second. All right, put THO in the main screen. I'm going to take THO long. We don't like that move. Opened this morning at 105. That's a $3 stop. I'll do a $3 stop. THO long, $3 stop, and open 3, close 15. Okay, my trade's in. So get your trades in there while we get everything set up. So we got THO, you can take it out of the 5 minute and put it into a 1 minute today chart. All right, so pretty thin on the trading volume there. Let's see, you got AstraZeneca short up in the upper right, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then let's put WFC. Predator's going to take that long. We'll put you lower right. All right, so we'll see what kind of action we get out of that. In at 2 out at 5 minutes, okay, with a 20-cent stop. I like it. All right. I'll talk to you real quick about how the market's doing this morning. While you're setting up your trades there. Okay, everything creeping a little bit higher, so up almost 250 points on the Dow. Okay. So, and then let's go back to the big board here for TD Ameritrade. LK. Let's get rid of AstraZeneca and put LK up there. Ooh, boy, that is ugly. But you're right. I think it could pay. And it looks like Burner's taking it right out of the gate at the open, which I think is the right call in this situation. If you think you're going to know right away whether that's the right call or not. So, all right, we get everything set up there. Actually, let's switch. Let's put LK in the big screen because Thor's kind of light on volume and Thor over there. Okay, so LK is on the big screen. We'll get the open price as soon as it opens for Burner and then track kind of LK. Wells Fargo is selling off pretty decent, which could, obviously that can be a good thing when you're setting up for a long. That can lead to a good entry point. Nice move back up to 33 there in Wells Fargo. All right, 1 minute out. Make sure our volume's on for the bell. All right, Geach, DFIN, 1,000 shares at the 10-cent stop. You could pre-market it, not for the trade in here, but well, I will tell you, Predator, that's exactly it. I don't like longs at all, and we're all long today, right? So, I mean, it's just longs suck because you don't get that big move that you would normally have, right? So it's harder to find something. So it's hard, to get 3R like my trade. I got to move $9 to get 3R out of Thor. I don't think so. Now, you're going to get okay is going to be the one that's in play. It's just whether you can hit it at the right time to get in and get out. So yeah, it looked like 520. We'll draw 520 in there for the open. For burner there, and we'll see if it holds. Let's see. LK 30-cent stop, so draw him down at 490. I like that stop. I'd have probably given it 485 just based on the pre-market action, but probably should hold. If it holds 490, it'll probably hold 485. So that's kind of a good move that it's going down there. And then his 3R point would be 610. Which I think is very achievable in LK. So I kind of like this trade. Obviously, I'm a fanboy of LK long, so that probably biases my analysis. I wouldn't be all that concerned with the drop yet, but if it just kind of settles down here at around 5 and then goes back higher, that would be good. That would show there's a big buyer there at 5. So that's what you can see on a chart like this. It keeps bouncing off of 5. It means there's a big buy order right there. So every time it hits 5, it's getting bought up. If it doesn't hold 5, I think it's going to drop below 490. So we shall see. Oh, it held. Well, maybe not. All right. It looks like it hit you out. We would have to go with fine tune there. So we'll see if it kind of. Yeah, they're officially kind of busted through. So that trade is busted for our day trade, but as far as taking long, I mean, I still like LK long here. So thinking about it for an actual re-entry, there's got to be a headline out there or something that's taking it down. Okay, let's bring Wells Fargo up. Actually, leave Wells Fargo there. Go to DFEN. We'll come back to LK in a minute. DFEN. See how Geach is doing here. Oh, that's a red stripe. Goodness gracious. Shares 10 cents. So the open. Click to where that says 830 down at the bottom. To the right. Okay, now hold. You go up to the top. Open was 21.29. And let's see, 10-cent stop, 21.19. Obviously, it smoked through that pretty quick. I do kind of like it long here. So if you wanted to take this trade real time, if anybody's trading real time, I like DFIN long. Let's take it here at 2084 is when I called it. So 2084. I would take this with a stop below the low of the day, so a 30 stop, so 2084. With the stop down at 2054, which is kind of where it was. So you set your stop below the low, and then 30 shares. If you're doing $300, that'd be 1,000 shares, and then 3 times that would be $1.20. So 2084 plus $1, 2184. So 2204. So there, if you're trading real time or in a paper trade, I'd be happy with this trade right now with the way it's sold off. Kind of set up. We're in minute 3, so that's how to set up that trade. It would have to get to a new low of the day in order to bust us out of that trade. So that's why I set the stop down here at this 30 cents below. So as long as it churns in between that 2065 to 2075. I don't care. The longer it does, the more I like my trade because it'll bust up to the upside. All right, I do see Wells Fargo moving north. So let's see. Go to the bottom right and make that say 832. Okay, 832. It looks like it opened at 32.87 is what I'm seeing there, Predator. Yeah, people listen to the Fool. They really do. I'm thinking of Motley Fool. I'm looking at Geach's comment there. So yeah, good times. So 32.87, trying to find Apex's trade. 20-second stop, so it had to hold 32.67. We'll probably have to blow that one up to actually take a look. Okay, yep, LK down at 440. That, no bueno. We'll keep an eye on that. Bring DFIN back up. That's the trade I called live. So see if it's holding. It's almost busted. Now it's 27. It's still hanging in there at 2070. All right, we'll go look at Thor. I had called for my trade. Long $3, open at minute 3. So let's go to 83 or 833 to the open, 108.91. So it would have to hold 105.91, which it has. And again, I need like 120 for my 3R. So we'll see that. That's still open. All right, let's see. So Geach's trade busted out. Burner's busted out. Mine's okay. And then we'll have to take a look at, it's 836. Let's go ahead and bring up, looks like DFIN's busted. Yeah, it went down to 2051 for low. New low of the day, you got to get out of that trade. All right, WFC in the main screen. Okay, it's cool. It does bring the drawing tool over, so that's kind of cool. So we said it had to hold, go to minute 2, 832. All right. So at 832, it's held that lower stop, and then go to 835. 835, that's 838. That's when the trade closed. Open closed at 32.92. So it looks like your trade held their Predator and made 5 cents the way I have it. Go back to 832 for the open. Yeah, it opened at 32.92. 32.87, closed at 32.92 for 5-cent gain into a R unit of 20 cents. So 1/4 of an R is what I have for you there. We'll see how mine holds. I have till minute 15 in Thor, so we'll check that out. All right, let's see what other comments in here. Yeah, LK is kind of fun to watch. We'll bring LK into the big screen. Oh, that must be a dated comment. Looks like we're stopped in LK. Let's see, pull up LK there. We'll see if we're halted. Trading halted in LK off 18%. So again, it went from about 50 up like 12 to 13% pre-market to down 18% now that it's the open. That story is not over today. We shall see what happens. Wish I could buy pre-market LK at 490. Good thing you didn't, right? Bottom fell out of that. Okay, there's the Motley Fool article. We're talking about the Fool. Yeah, those guys are not investment advisors. They sell newsletters. So, I mean, obviously they have some staying power, but they, there's the halted from Burner One. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, they take kind of stabs at long things or at long shots. So more of the higher reward stuff. And then of course they don't mention the things they're wrong on. They only mention the things that they're right on. Okay. I have you more than a 0.0000001 R. Got you all the way up to 0.25 R. So we'll see. How's Thor doing? My Thor opened at 108.91 with a $3 stop. So right now that would win, but it's got to hold that area, and we've got a long time yet. We still have another 6 minutes before I'm out of that trade. Okay. We'll leave LK up. We'll see it flopping around here in a minute. Let's go to the big board off to the left and see what's up today. Actually, let's refresh the market. We don't need to share that out. Just refresh it though. Okay, things are open. Dow's up still 250. So lots of up names here. So on the upper left there on the TD Ameritrade screen, Think Pipes, you got Clickstream. Again, that's kind of a penny stock name. A couple of options. Boeing's up 10%. So Boeing would have worked out of the gate. Let's bring Boeing into the big screen. I'd written down Boeing long. Yeah, if you did a patient entry on that Predator, this is the sort of entry you were talking about the other day. You wait about 3 minutes, let kind of the initial stuff roll out. So there's the 3-minute point, and then basically a straight line up from there. You wouldn't be able to get 3R out of that move, but it's certainly a nice move up. Other names we were going to take a look at. Let's bring up that NKLA. This is my second choice. So up 14%, but it opened way up here. So that would be down from the open. So that's not a bad setup there, down to 40, setting up long. I don't know. I think it'll be in play. Like I said, I'm going to buy some of that today. So I'm actually, why don't we have that, vote for that to go red for right now. So I can get a cheaper entry. All right, RTX is the old Raytheon, now Raytheon United. Was looking at them long. Nope. Scratch that. AAL was a continuation of the airlines, again, with their buying out. So let's put them on the big board. AL with a delayed entry. Maybe you're not going to get a 3R move out of that. And MIK was up 30% pre-market. So let's take a look at that. So kind of sold off some from 740, now quite a bit. 740 down to below 7, now back above 7. Lots of volume. Kind of looks like a good entry there. When you're talking those entry points, you're looking for patterns like that where it kind of stripes down, bounces off a level, and you can get a big move up. Obviously, that's looking in retrospect, so it's easy to say it was there. But that's going into that. That's what kind of that you're looking for, is it to stop. Yeah, go get a Luckin coffee. All right, let's continue off to the left. Let's see, Shroom F is a psychedelic. Northwest Bio, again, continues its march up, excuse me. So printing money if you're in that name. DL's Delta, Love, Skywest, or Southwest. BXMT, Blackstone Mortgage Trust, big fan. Tesla's moving up 5%. NEO, pull up the NEO chart. NEO's, again, the Chinese EV automaker that's gotten life back into it all of a sudden. NEO and LK are names that people talk almost interchangeably with speculative Chinese companies out there. Not a whole lot of motion. Okay, let's see what the big losers are today. LK, yep, it's back open. So let's click on LK. See how much the damage is. Hey, into the threes. There you go. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. It may get stopped out again. We shall see. All right. DraftKings down 5%. We talked about got to make the decision on whether that's played out or not. And then Netflix down a little bit, just profit taking. Nothing else is really down real huge there. Those are all options up there. So, all right. Let's go back to in the green. All right, my trade's getting ready to close out. It looks like it's going to fade into the red. So that will take me out. We got another minute for it to pop back up. Okay, transition to some long-term Q&A. Interested in some long-term infrastructure stocks. I think no matter who's elected, it'll be important for the country. AWK and Plug. AWK, I want to say that's American Water. As much fun as it will be to watch the LK pop back above $5, let's put AWK in the big screen, back it out to an annual chart. Oh, wow. So AWK has been kind of all over the map. I'm not a fan of the water plays. I've had folks kind of make me go into those, and it seems like I think they pay a nice dividend. But water is one of those, it's kind of like just hard to make money on it. Everybody knows we need it, so you think it'd be a great investing theme, but just don't see the way for it to print money. Let's take a look at Plug. I'm not familiar with Plug. Let's see, another screen we're putting in FinViz so I can just kind of take a look. So Plug Power, electrical equipment and parts, industrial name, you catch. Yeah, up big, kind of followed everything else. Got a 22% short float in it. Oh my word. It is breaking above $5, so that would be another name that you could watch to see if it holds above 5 and goes from there. If go ahead and put XLB in the big board. So Predator, here's what I would immediately think of with XLB. I gotcha. And then click it for here for FinViz. XLB is one of the sectors. If you think of the 11 sectors across the U.S., it's the Materials Select Sector Fund. That's one thing I could support. So there are some folks out there that buy all 11 sectors and just weight them differently. You could overweight energy now, and you could overweight XLB for builders is where that came from. So I think that'd be the most compelling one that I can think of off the top of my head, would be to go into that. Okay, let's look at the Thor trade. Thor trade's gonna put me into the red. I won't have busted out, but I will have finished in the red from my open. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay, so I'm busted out. Apex Predator, three wins in a row. So keep up the good work. All right, let's go back to LK in the main screen because it's entertaining. All right. Okay, yeah, that's a daily chart. Go down into the 1 minute today. I was like, ooh, it went down to 2. It's like, no, that was like 4 or 5 days ago. All right, back up to 450. Obviously, there's going to be lots of opinions on that stock today. So we'll keep that up there while I talk about my long-term. You can go ahead and clear out that question. Okay, we'll kind of close with first of all, yeah, it's hard to trade on up days. It sucks. That's why we're looking for stuff that whiff earnings, and then go from there. All right, yeah. You know why it stopped out though? It stopped out on the upstop now, because that's a 25% move from the low of 370 up to 445. So it actually halted on the, hit the other circuit breaker. So good times. I do think it's going to come out of there and climb back up, not just because I'm being a cheerleader, but I think this pause will give folks a second. Do we really want to be in this name? And I think it's going to be a resounding yes, they do. Okay. Before I go in that, HTZ Hertz, are they still around? Let's go Hertz on the big screen. Yeah, I thought they were oh, there you go. Yeah, I wouldn't touch Hertz. I think they're going to be dead. I think unless there's a headline that somebody's moving in to buy them and save them, I think they could actually do a full, and there must be some good news out there. Remember the big fall last week from 3 down to 0? I think it was Nelson Peltz that finally bailed on him and when I can't do this anymore, I'm done bleeding cash. So that's where you saw that big move down. They were almost assuredly going to go into bankruptcy. So there's got to be somebody backing them there. If you know the name, then go ahead and put it in there. Okay, but we can leave on that, but they're up 35%. Good for them. Okay. All right, last thing I want to talk about is our academic topic of the day. It's called a self-directed IRA. And looking across the members of the squadron, you can just leave this one up. Actually, you're right. We're going to bring that, and we're going to go from the big board a minute and go over to Investopedia while I walk you through this. So here's a little bit of a insight into how a self-directed IRA works. I'll drive for a second. Okay, So who are determined to go beyond the usual investments that are available for accounts, way beyond. So when you think of, if you have a large IRA, now most people, you spend a lifetime to get yourself to $1 million IRA when you're in your 50s, maybe $1.5 million, $2 million by the time you retire. You live off of that and you call it good, right? That's kind of life 101 for your upper middle class. However, if you have been aggressive and started early in an IRA, you can get up to the 2 million plus point, which would be about the time I would say you could consider doing some self-directed stuff. Now, the first one and the one that everybody asks about, and the answer is yes, you can, and then it becomes, well, should you, is the buying a house. Can you buy a house in your IRA? The answer is yes. It has to be an investment property. You cannot live in the house, and we'll scroll down and we'll go through some of those rules. But when you think for a second, you cannot live in the house, nor can anybody who's involved with this thing be a benefactor of it. It has to be a pure investment. And in the house, you pay your utilities from your IRA. You have to. You don't have the option to write a check out of your account, out of your checking account. You have to pay everything, utilities, insurance, taxes, everything has to come out of the IRA. And in addition, when you sell the home, all of the gains are within the IRA, so you don't pay any taxes on it. Well, house gains are already pretty favorable anyway, that you don't pay taxes up to a certain point anyway. So I don't know. I don't really see the genius in this, but if you had a really big IRA and you wanted to put your little McMansion in there that's, $5 million property or something, maybe there's a benefit. But let's go ahead and go through here. Obviously, regular IRAs, you can only get so aggressive. You can only use a certain level of option. So this gets you away from some of those things. Yep, buy and sell precious metals, like the hard asset, not the ETFs. Cryptocurrencies, you can put them in a self-directed IRA. You have to go through the pain of setting one up, but you could do that if you were going to hold a bunch of crypto in an IRA. Again, so gains, why would you do that? To not have to pay taxes on the gains right away anyway, or ever if it's in a Roth. Okay, here's your IRS permitted real estate, developmental land, notes, tax lien, precious metals, crypto, water rights. We're in Texas. You see lots of mineral rights, water rights, gas rights, private ownership of an LLC. You put in there, and then livestock. Yeah, let's go and put our cows in our IRA. You can do it, but you can't do collectibles, which is art, antique, stamps, or rugs. So there's obviously some black market out there that would be where that's not cool for. Yes, racehorse. Buy me one, like me buy you one, or you gotta like I buy me one. Anyway, but yeah, you put your $25,000 Derby potential of every year when there's 2,000 horses that think they're going to win the Derby. Okay, it could be a way to diversify. You'd have to have a lot of money before that makes sense. It's still with a custodian or a trustee as the administrator, but you're the one making the decision, so it's kind of on you. Same contribution limits. So this is not a way to sneak a whole bunch of money in. It's a way, once the account has grown, or once you're trying to grow an account, that's a way to put stuff in there that has significant upside. I don't believe in the cryptos, but if you do, I can't say that I'm going to be right because that story is far from over. But if you do, then there's going to be a huge upside to them. You can do that. Same withdrawal rules. So when you go to take money out, you have to be a certain age. You still have RMDs that you have to deal with. So if it is a traditional, you are going to take that money out over the course of your lifetime. If you ever do a prohibited transaction, so if you ever accidentally stroke a check for your light bill out of your checkbook, you've violated all of that, so you could lose your tax advantage status and they could go back and crush your life. That's why people don't really want to deal with these rules. So, and here's another one. Yeah, fraudulent schemes, high fees, volatile performance. So this would be, there is like a self-directed IRA.com, which is be about the only stock that I would, or the only people I'd go through for this is people that specialize in that. Like if you ask me, I'd be like, nope, I'm punting your accounts. You can have fun with that on your own. But yeah, I'd warn about any cheesy things that show up in your spam filter about how to do this. Yeah, LK is up at 480. I see that. So we shall see. Borrowing money, all that stuff, which you can do out of a 401k, which is another topic for another day. But this year, if you have the reason to borrow 100,000 from your IRA or your 401k, you can do it. You have 3 years to pay it back. This is kind of funny. It says you can't have a disqualified person. It's the first time in my life I've ever seen the term of a fiduciary being a disqualified person. I thought that meant illegals, is what I thought that, like non-citizens. No, disqualified person is you, the fiduciary on the account, the trustee. It basically, the spouse, anybody that touches it directly or indirectly is now can't use it at all for personal gain. So that's all I have on self-directed IRAs. I would say don't do it. And if you do, then you've got a lot of thinking to do before you pull the trigger on something like that. And would it be worth it? I don't know. I just don't see it. Okay, that's all I've got for today. Let's go ahead and wrap up. You've got Apex as the winner 3 days in a row, so the rest of us need to stop that. We're up to 4 days on or 4 members in the squadron. Actually, pull up the website. It's hiding under there. Yep, there you go. All right, I'm going to bring up the OTOTnow website. For you guys to help recruit, the referral bonus is if somebody signs up and you brought them in, you get either half the money that they paid, or you get that same number. If they sign up for 6 months, you get 6 months of membership. So little incentive to help you guys help me build the site. I do it primarily through the podcast of putting out new episodes, and that's going. I talked to a guy this afternoon at 3 o'clock on how to get my on time on target listed with Apple iTunes. So that's going on for me. Scroll down to the bottom. That's episode 1 there. If you haven't caught it, all the way to the bottom. This is where we have our winners now. So the morning brief daily winners. So you'll see Predator show up with another one there. Ace will not be joining us, so we'll take his name off of the board later today. But basically, this is where if folks have any questions, go ahead and scroll back up. Click on Join a Squadron. This is the fact sheet, which you should have received. Website's a little slow this morning. So we'll take a look at that, see what's slowing my website down. Click download right there. So join a squadron, then download. This is that fact sheet. So if you're trying to explain it to somebody, this is where you can show everybody. It's 1 page front and back. That is something you can download and send to somebody and go, hey, I'm part of this. It's pretty cool stuff. If you want to be a part, right now is the time to join. $25 a month, that sort of thing. So if you feel like doing that, that's great. If you don't, I get it. Don't worry. I'm just happy to have you guys, and it's on me to build the room. So, okay. Yep, I'm seeing your last comment there from Apex Predator. Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't thought about it from that angle, but if you went self-directed on your 401k, I think your company would have to agree to that. I'm not sure all of them would. But anyhow, that's what I've got for today. We'll see you guys back tomorrow morning at the same time. You guys have a good one. Bye.